Thank you for joining us. A big day today.
Another exciting segment. I tell you what, Project Climb, the history of that.
That was great.
I mean, just
there was so much we didn't talk
the
about.
longevity of that. That's going to be a multiple. That's a multiple segment one.
Yes.
I don't know how you get all of what that encompasses in just a 10 or a 12-minute segment. So we'll definitely have them back. I'm sure there's information because, you know, with celebrating the 30-year anniversary of it, they were able to come in and present to the school board a couple months ago. They had showed part of a video that kind of had all the history of things. So there's so much there.
And I just remember I had Peter Keene's daughter in kindergarten years ago. He's been with them for 29 years running Project Climb. Isn't that amazing?
Well, that's legacy, and that's why we have things going. So, all right, so we go about talking about teachers as always working with students, and now we have students.
Yay, you are our first students on the show.
Ever in the history of it.
Yes.
So, welcome.
Thank you.
There we go. Renee Engage. Now, obviously they're like, we're here, hello. But the question is, why are they here? Both of these students are part of our LNA program, studies program at the high school. And one of the things that I love, I'm very competitive. So anything we can do something that's better than everybody else, we're going to highlight.
And we are.
And
now,
I would say
brag first, because you were so excited.
With the LNA program. So this year is the 3rd year in a row.
Okay, 3 years.
That 100% of our LNA students passed their final exam, their licensing exam, first try.
That's huge. All of our
100%.
students.
Everybody.
3rd year in a row.
Now, I don't care if there's 20 of them or one. Everybody. But we had more than one. So obviously we've got 2 sitting here.
Oh,
so
that's great.
Welcome.
Oh, we're so
excited
both of you
about this. Take a minute. A couple of things. One, introduce yourselves. What year you are, and then talk about what the LNA program is.
Okay. I'm Renee Purslow. I took the LNA program my junior year of high school, and the LNA program, it was a great opportunity to see if I loved nursing and see if I wanted to continue that after high school. And I love it, so I'm planning on going into the medical field, getting my RN, and hopefully working in labor and delivery. So.
So it's your first year involved.
Yep.
And that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great.
Very exciting.
A chance to do that.
I'm Gage Richard. I'm a junior this year, and just like Renee, I did the LNA program through the beginning of sophomore summer all the way to the the first semester of junior year. I plan to try and apply for NEC for the 3-year nursing program, and then get my Bachelor of Science degree and see where we go from there.
So that's one. So you'll go to New England, apply to New England College, and they're both coming out with an LNA certification when they're done with the program. That's huge.
They are career ready today.
That's amazing.
Juniors, they think about that. They have the ability to walk into a career now, but yet they both are going to obviously keep going and doing that. Gage, do you have an area? I know Renee was talking about wanting to do labor and delivery. Do you have an area that catches your fancy?
Probably just a normal registered nurse or RN, and maybe a little bit of travel nursing while I'm young.
That's a big field. Yeah, a lot of opportunity.
Travel. I will tell you, in Missouri, I've had the opportunity to meet a couple of travel nurses. Both of them owned vans, like these Sprinter vans they had converted. And so they literally, the hospitals, I mean, you talk about a field, the nursing field is so needy.
It is
such almost a cutthroat business because the bonuses, the sign-on bonuses, longevity stipends. But I saw a hospital in Missouri that had built, it looked like a campground behind it, so that way traveling nurses could plug in, and that was part of their pay.
Oh, that's awesome.
Was that you weren't paying for housing, so they just traveled from there.
Oh, that's
so a lot of really cool stuff. Labor delivery's got its own.
Yeah, now Renee, why labor and delivery? What made you get into that?
I don't know. I've just always been kind of interested in that, and my mom's a medical assistant at New London Hospital, so I've always seen it, and she works with little kids, so I love that. But I kind of want to be firsthand there. So
that's great.
Yeah,
and they get that hands-on experience.
Well, that's it's live experience coming in. So talk about the coursework. What do you have to do? What does your day look like in this program?
So we started the coursework over the summer of our sophomore year going into junior year, and it was not much work, but it was just enough, and there was book work involved and then quizzes, and it got us really prepared and kind of opening our eyes to see what we were going to be stepping into once we hit preclinicals and clinicals. And so yeah, it wasn't too much, I don't think, but it was just enough.
And exposure.
Yeah, exactly.
So Gage clinicals, talk about what are the clinicals? What does that entail?
Well, as Renee just said, there were the pre-clinicals, I believe, the studying over summer, which let me tell you, you don't want to get behind on that. I found out the hard way. But cramming 3 weeks into 1 week and trying to read everything, took a lot out of me.
But you did it.
Yeah. From the summer work, you go into your pre-clinicals in the classroom, where the high school has set up its own little LNA practice room, where we had instructor Luba, who works at New London Hospital. She was very kind. She has a little bit of a thick accent, but it adds to her character. So she basically gave us the rundown of everything that went through in our book. We went over videos, and then we did physical demonstrations on the other 6?
Yes.
I want to say 6, including Renee, students. And then from there, we moved on to clinicals. Do you want to explain clinicals?
So clinicals is when we got to like step into New London Hospital and like be one-on-one with patients and learn like new skills, which is kind of difficult at first because you have to go in there being confident, like acting like it's not your first time doing things when it is.
Your first time doing it. Scary.
And it's like, but we build like really good connections with all the workers and all the like residents there, and it was a very great experience. We learned like so many new skills that now we can apply to when we work.
And this is your hospital. I had the advantage of, as Renee, she walked in, we were together in kindergarten, and her whole family we know well. But that's the hospital we all went to, right? When there was a, you bumped your elbow or something. So was it odd going back in as, in an official capacity?
It was actually pretty cool because I knew most of the people there because, like I said, my mom works there. But then being able to go around in different rotations, seeing like what other areas of the hospital there were, that was really cool too, to see like which area you preferred more and like what opened your eyes for everything. So
what does an LNA actually do? And then that's
question.
We know it's important, we know it's valuable, but what is it? Break that down.
We basically help the people who can't do certain things, like help them do their daily task, like brushing teeth, showers, like going to the bathroom, even just like getting up and walking around, like was one of the things we'd assist them with. And people like think it's like always just like the gross work, but there were like really good connections you could build. Like you could paint their nails, do their hair, like really nice things that would make them really happy. So those were some of the things that we did during clinicals, if you want to add on.
Basically what Renee said, take an RN where their main duty is to jot down everything, import stuff into computers about the residents there and make sure everything's getting recorded. You as an LNA will step in and do some of the recordings and also some of the other work. Unlike RNs, you don't do IVs, you don't put in catheters and other implements like that.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Gage,
so no blood draws.
Right, there we go. Yes, no phlebotomy
Except glucose finger pricks.
Okay.
We can also remove IV catheters. So like once somebody puts an IV in, we can remove it and give them.
But you don't have to start it yet.
No, you don't have to start it yet.
Since both of you are heading that route, it's coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's happening.
Were there any surprises, Gage, when you got in there? When you first started your rotations and got to the hospital? Was there anything that just you went, oh goodness?
Not really. I'm not really. Even going into the final test, I didn't have any nerves about it. I don't have the most expressive reaction to something like that.
That's probably good though.
Yeah.
It can be, and then other times it's a little.
I'm not playing poker with him.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you right now.
Exactly.
But I mean, it was fun. I got to meet Renee's mother, which was pretty fun when we went up to pediatrics. There was PACU, there was ER, there was hospice, which was the main floor that most of the students would stay on. It was a great experience, and to meet the residents, depending if they're there short or long, you still get to know more about them.
Yeah.
Like an instance, I was doing a resident's bed for them, and I just got to get into like a 45-minute ramble while cleaning their room about how they lived and what their career was.
See, right, with this rich history of who this person was, not just the patient lying in the bed.
Connections,
Right,
relationships.
connections, again, we've been
You're going to
talking
hear
about
this
that
constantly out of me.
over and over,
Connections,
which is-
relationships.
But that's life.
But that's the important piece of that. And you talk
Learning.
about you have two phenomenal young people that are working with individuals, and as that translates, when they're almost their most vulnerable moments.
That's right,
And
exactly.
to have somebody that they can trust and somebody that is pleasant and whether it demonstrates that they care and want to be around
Absolutely.
them. is what helps the healing
Well,
process.
you know, from in the hospital, and Renee had said, you know, it's not just the things you'd think, but you come in and you can say, ooh, Mrs. Chip, would you like your hairbrush? Would you like your nails done? Simple things like that can change someone's attitude, right? And their feeling of well-being. You know, that's a, that's a really
Well, all the
important
studies show that you know, how your emotional state affects how you heal.
Right, right,
And
right.
sometimes it's just when people have, I mean, you talk about being in hospice, you've got people that are potentially terminal, and how do you translate graciously
Right, right.
into
Help
the
them
next?
transition. Yes, exactly.
We go from there.
What good experience for you both, too.
Yeah.
What would be something that somebody's thinking about maybe getting in the program? What would be your advice or your?
And we have a minute left, so we'll give you 30 seconds
go in
each.
there. So
I
what-
would let them know that you're not just working with the patient, you're working with their family as well, and building a connection with everybody,
That's a
because it's not just them that you're taking care of, you're taking care of everyone as a whole.
Yeah.
And to go in with an open mind. Don't think that you're just going to do the gross work. You're going to also be building relationships with everybody. So
Oh, that's wonderful. Gage?
Gage?
Make sure to stay on top of work. Make sure that you reach out whenever you need help. Everyone there that is assisting is very useful with information and anything, even for the online portions, for quizzes and turning in everything else. Everyone's there and very, very available for you to do everything with. So they're always there for you.
What a great program.
Well, great
What a
program,
great
but great.
program.
Are they not great human
That goes
beings?
without saying.
But that's the
Absolutely. Young
beauty of the
human
whole thing
beings,
that
yes.
we want to highlight, and could not thank you both enough
thank
for
you.
coming in and being our first students on the
Oh,
show,
very special.
and really highlighting what we've got
Students,
going on.
yeah,
Just
isn't
an
that
absolute
huge?
blast.
Yeah,
an
and
absolute
thank you.
blast.
Congratulations to you both, and
Yeah,
we're so
thank
glad
you.
you were
Appreciate you being
here.
here. Wish you best of luck in the future. And the best part is I get to see you for a whole nother year.
Yay!
So I'm the winner. I'm the winner. Next we got one of your
that's
favorite
right.
people coming
Michael
up next
Bissett.
thing. Our assistant superintendent.
him? Yes.
Good questions. Great opportunity for
Absolutely.
him.
And then after that, what happens?
I think it's the end of the show.
Ask the superintendent.
Oh yeah, there's that part. I've been trying to avoid that.
Renee, Gage, thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys
Really.
being on.
Thank you.
Good. And stay with us. We'll be back with Mr. Bissett.
Yep, right here on the Cougar Chronicle.